Hello everyone, welcome to Achievers IAS classes. Let's begin a discussion on the current events of 4th July 2018. The first issue news is regarding the meeting of the Kaveri Water Management Authority, which has been put in place by the central government to implement the judgment of the Supreme Court, which was passed earlier this year. The authority will implement the water sharing award of the Kaveri Water Dispute Tribunal, and it has recently asked the Karnataka government to release 31 TMC feet of water in the month of July. The quantum of water to be released is based on the monthly schedule drawn up by the tribunal, which excludes the surplus water received by the Tamil Nadu side. For the authority to successfully perform its role, cooperation of the states in gathering data on rainfall, inflows and outflows into the reservoirs, cropping patterns, as well as periodic withdrawals from the reservoirs is essential. Further, the authority is expected to meet once in every 10 days during the monsoons, and given the normal forecast of the monsoon by the weather authorities, it may not face any major problem in overseeing the release of water to Tamil Nadu in the current year. Because as long as there are proper inflows into Karnataka's reservoirs, there would be no problem of releasing the surplus waters. But the challenge lies in determining water sharing in a distress year, which can prove to be tricky, given that the Interstate River Water Disputes Act clearly states that it is the duty of the center to notify a scheme to implement the award of a river tribunal, and also the Supreme Court's approval of the draft scheme. The states, namely Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Puducherry, should approach the issue of water sharing in a spirit of cooperation and leave behind the era of litigation, because there is a non political mechanism which has been put in place now. Therefore, the state should help the authority to implement the verdict and engage in mutually beneficial water sharing. On that note, let's move on to the next issue, which is regarding the menace of mob lynchings. The Chief Justice of India has recently said that it is the obligation of the state governments to prevent mob lynchings, and states cannot give even the remotest chance to let the lynchings happen. Further, it has said that the compensation for victims should not be determined on the basis of religion, caste, etc., but on the basis of the extent of injury, as anyone can be a victim of such a crime. Further, the CJI asked the central government to frame a scheme under Article 256 to give directions to the states to prevent or control the instances of mob lynching and thereby maintain law and order. In a related development, the government has told the service provider WhatsApp to take immediate measures to ensure that its platform is not misused by taking remedial measures to prevent the proliferation of fake and motivated messages. This follows various incidents of lynching being reported from states like Assam, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tripura, West Bengal, etc., which were done by mobs provoked by irresponsible and explosive messages on WhatsApp. For further details on this issue, please go back and watch the monthly roundup of the previous month. The next issue in news is the direction given by the Supreme Court for the state governments to consult the Union Public Service Commission before appointing the Directors General of Police. Further, it has said that the state government concerned has to send the names of the probable candidates 3 months before the incumbent director is to retire. Based on this, the UPSC will prepare a list of 3 officers fit to be the DGP and send it back. Further, it has said that people who have at least 2 years of service with due weightage to merit and seniority be shortlisted for the post. What's more important is the court in 2006, in the famous Prakash Singh case, had issued 7 directives to ensure the independence of the police and to shield them from unwarranted influence through a merit-based transparent process and a minimum tenure of 2 years. In this regard, the center has highlighted that only 5 states, namely Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Telangana, and Rajasthan, have implemented the direction of the Supreme Court, while some state governments have even gone to the extent of appointing their favorite officers on the very date of their retirement so that they continue in service for another 2 years till the age of 62. In this regard, the court has clarified that the extension of tenure should be only for a reasonable period, and on the practice of several states appointing acting DGPs, the court has said that there is no idea of an acting DGP and ordered the states to act accordingly. In addition to this, please go through the recommendations made by the Supreme Court in the Prakash Singh case to get a holistic view on this issue. For now, let's move on to the next issue, which is regarding the launch of an Android based mobile application named Vigil by the Election Commission of India. Through the application, citizens can share the proof of malpractices by political parties, their candidates, as well as activists when the Model Code of Conduct is in force. The application also facilitates sharing of geotagged photographic and video evidence without disclosing the identity of the sender, and in case the complainant does not opt for anonymity, the person will receive an action taken report within 100 minutes. The uploaded information will be transmitted to the control room and from there to the field units by mapping it on a geographical information system, and it is expected to be available for the use during the state assembly elections which are scheduled to be held later this year. The next issue in news is regarding the study conducted by the Indian Council of Medical Research, which has confirmed that fruit bats were the primary source of Nipah outbreak in Kerala earlier this year, based on the samples which tested positive for the virus. Initially, a central medical team had ruled out that bats were the primary source of the infection, but the recent study indicates the presence of the virus in fruit bats, which had created panic in the region. For further details on this issue, please go back and watch my previous news analysis video. For now, let's move on to the next issue, which is regarding the regulatory power of the RBI over public sector banks. The RBI has wide-ranging regulatory powers with respect to the private sector banks, but the same cannot be said with respect to the public sector banks where the government is the major stakeholder. Therefore, there have been instances of interference by the government, and recently, even the RBI governor had blamed it on the lack of powers which resulted in regulatory failure in the Punjab National Bank scam. In this regard, the finance minister has recently said that the government is open for discussion over the lack of powers in regulating the state run banks. Therefore, we have to wait and watch the future developments on this front. For now, let's look into the next issue, which is regarding Tanjavur painting. Tanjavur paintings have been granted geographical indication tags, which puts a premium on their authenticity, but so far there are no regulations to govern either the quality or the authenticity of the product, because there is no way to find out if the gold foil or the gemstones used in these traditional crafts are authentic or fake without ruining the painting. But now, researchers have used Raman spectroscopy as well as energy dispersive X-ray analysis to identify molecules in the gold foil and have found that only 2 out of the 10 paintings having genuine gold foil. Given that the glittery gold foil makes the painting more attractive as well as prolong the life of the artifact, it is difficult for the consumers to tell the difference, and the recent research findings will address this problem in a great way. Further, the researchers have also suggested framing of regulations for the Tanjavur paintings so that there is no misuse of the GI tag. The final issue in news today is regarding the pressure exerted by China on the European Union for an alliance between the two economic powers to condemn the restrictive trade policies of the US. In this regard, China has made a proposal to launch a joint action against the US at the WTO, but the EU, which is the world's largest trading bloc, has rejected this idea. This is because the European Union is also concerned about China's closed markets as well as the manipulative trade practices employed by China to dominate the global markets. However, the recent move by the Chinese shows their new boldness in trying to seize the leadership over issues including free trade, climate change, as well as foreign policy. Given that Chinese restrictions on foreign investment in their domestic market is higher in most of the sectors, the European Union expects any move against the US to be more symbolic than substantive, even when China has promised to open up its economy. On that note, I'm calling it a wrap on today's news analysis. Do like, share, and comment to support this initiative. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.